Greetings, everyone. This is the Libra Mini March 2019 Relationship Report from Tarot Lumination. Let's get to the basics. Please check all these notes here. Astrodoodles are on a separate playlist. I highly recommend checking them out in parallel with this report because it might add some extra color, texture, depth of understanding. This is the Tarot Lumination Astrodoodle for Libra for March. And just check the other playlist, okay? We'll come back to this, perhaps, maybe not. Because this is a tarot report, okay? Personal readings, of course, check the links below. Membership, it's vital for the Tarot Illumination channel to keep going. It's very important. Here's the best way that you can say thank you. Check the links below. And if you just want a random donation, that's much appreciated too. Again, check the links below. Okay, now let's get on with the nature of the spread itself, okay? Here at Tarot Illumination, we work on the understanding that there is you, a significant other, and a third entity called the relationship itself. And the relationship has its own identity, energy, structure, meaning, purpose, and just like an individual, you're always transmitting and receiving energy. So are other people. And so is your relationship. Your relationship literally, it's almost like it has its own astrological chart. Not yours, not the other, your own thing. But you guys own this. So many of us operate this way very unconsciously. It's just you and the other and you. And, you know, that's fine. You can do that. But there is so much more going on if we get into the depths of it. I call it a crucible spread because the crucible is a bowl. It is a very strong bowl that can withstand the intense pressures as we intimate and we separate. As we intimate and separate, as all of us do in relationship. The way we lay out the cards, it's basically you, the other, deeper inside of you, deeper inside of the other, and then to the core of the relationship itself. And what is being grown here? You think of this as a living thing. What is being nurtured, fostered? What is sprouting out of this thing? And also think of this as an entity itself. What are you radiating as a relationship? What energy is coming into you? How are you guys processing that? Are you conducting yourselves through the relationship and taking full advantage of the structure that you guys own? Or are you acting unconsciously? You to other, other to you, action, reaction, basically traditional relationship dynamics. Here at Tarot Illumination, we like to go above and beyond. So this is how we're going to do it. We're also going to allow that a lot of energy outside here, we could call the weather. All the energy that comes towards you that is permeating the space around you and your relationship and the other parties. Singles, if you want to, you can watch this too, but you have to understand the laws of attraction, okay? The idea is that you're always radiating energy anyway, even in love and relationship. Like if you're very, very closed, it's very difficult to attract another. If you're open and you're radiating and you're willingly attracting another, then perhaps this will make more sense. If you need to get into it personally, then, you know, check the links below. We can work on this stuff, okay? All right, let's just get to it. Cards are already well shuffled in advance. We're going to go to the last second so that you are a witness, okay? No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles. I'm going back to basics with the most fundamental deck that I have. This deck has done thousands of readings, and it's still going strong. And the reason I'm using this is because Tarot Illumination needs a certain degree of stability right now because we're going through a lot of shifts and changes here on the channel and personally. And I love using other decks. It's just that in order to get a degree of stability here, I'm just getting back to basics, okay? I hope you don't mind. If you want lots of fun and everything, we do live shows and things like that. And that's a little bit different from what we're doing now. This is basically trying to get you the information that you need as concisely and fast as possible so that you can get on with your lives, okay? Just give me a little bit more time here, okay, Libra? I'm not really even going to go into the astrodoodles here. It's such a significant part of things, but it is a separate playlist. Seriously, I highly recommend going there. Okay, cards are shuffled. We're going to cut it up very evenly, okay? Libra likes harmony and balance. Bless the deck, bless every card in the deck. Bless you, dear Libra, for coming here. Bless Tarot Illumination in the channel and all the entities that allow this to happen at all. Please, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, invite your invisible friends. That's what we do here. It's a team effort, okay? It'll help you a lot. Ask your invisible friends to join you. Here are you. This is you. This is your energy. What are you transmitting? What are you receiving? What are you radiating? Think of yourself like a smartphone. Over here, a significant other. Over here, deep down inside of you, deep down inside of the other, and to the core of the relationship itself. You guys own this. I hope you can see this as the crucible. This is the structure we were talking about. So what is it that you guys own here? What is happening with you? And what is being fostered? What is being... What is the momentum, okay? Because this is a living, breathing thing. It's like owning a business together, okay? I know it sounds boring and really tedious to talk about relationships like that, but it is like owning a business and managing a business. Especially when you do it very consciously and you constantly filter everything through the relationship and the other, okay? Lots of asking questions, lots of good communication. Let's have a look. Surrounding you, let's call it the weather. Circumstantial energy, environmental influences. We have the Nine of Swords. Well, honestly, this doesn't surprise me. Later on in March, we are going to get into Aries season, which would be your traditional annual time of maximum opposition, maximum stress, maximum potential awareness too. But it's sometimes very hard to handle the opposition energy if we have not done the homework on ourselves and the other party has not done the homework on themselves, and then like everything that could possibly go wrong can go wrong, will go wrong. What's that saying? What can go wrong will go wrong. So if you are, it's like swimming in an environment where you are feeling the buildup of stress and stresses, that would make total sense to me, okay? Because coming through that time of year to get to the Aries opposition is typically very, very uncomfortable. Okay, it would be like your 12th house energy. Okay, so let's just allow for that. Let's not get too freaked out about this. This appears perfectly normal and perfectly acceptable for myself, Tarot Illumination, as your reader. It would be normal for you to feel as though there's every stress possible and imaginable coming at you, like at you, as though, you know, it's just you and the rest of the world. Let's have a look. What are you radiating over here? Okay. So with with the Six of Wands, my feeling is that it's almost like you're putting a really, really brave face on a potentially very challenging situation, very challenging dynamics right now. And you are like against all, to me this looks like against all odds energy. You are radiating the energy of a winner, achieving and maintaining your goals, missions, dreams, desires in the context of relationship, but putting yourself first so that you do this effectively and properly. I just wanted to have a quick glance over here. I don't know if you can see this. This is the energy of maximum opposition that I was talking about coming at you at March 20th. Okay, so please allow for that. Okay, the sweet spot is if you've got Venus in Aquarius. Okay, so let's keep going. This to me looks like you are being highly appreciated, highly applauded, for being a good classic Libra, where you are very vested in in a relationship and for what works best in a relationship. And it's really hard to do that. Libras are considered the relationship sign, the sign of love and relationship, ruled by Venus. And it's actually really, really hard to do. It requires a tremendous amount of consideration, patience, respect, good listening, being there for someone else, okay? Of course, it's very nice to have all that coming back to you as well, but with this going on, you might see a lot of like small details about what's not working. So I really applaud you here for carrying and radiating this kind of energy. This is, to me, looks really good. Okay, what about the other? Okay, and this is a very different energy, but I also see it as parallel. My feeling is that, forget the gender. I'm not going to read this as a person, even though it is a person. This is the King of Cups energy. I'm reading it as energy. My feeling is that you, Libra, you're dealing with someone who's also, in their own way, doing an extremely good job of handling a situation, a dynamic in your relationship that's actually very challenging, and it requires the other party to be as, let's say, magnanimous, as regal, as noble, as highly integrated and capable as they are capable of being. And that's very, very hard to do. I mean, it looks great. Oh, King of Cups, yeah, but it's actually very, any of these king or queen cards, the crown can sometimes weigh very, very, very heavy. It's a very, very heavy crown to wear. And my feeling is that they are choosing to wear it because they must value something about you or the relationship or themselves that makes it worth their while to conduct themselves to the maximum level of integrity that they possibly can, no matter what the turbulence might be, no matter what is going on with you. Remember, Libra, this is not a couples reading. It's all about you, and we're allowing the other party as a character in the storyline here. When Tarot Illumination does these things, it feels like I'm watching a streaming video, a movie, like a Netflix movie, and my job is to translate the subtitles so it turns into a story that works, that's comprehensive for you, however it turns out. I don't flip all the cards all at once and then go, oh, I get it. No, it's a living, breathing thing, okay? So this energy permeates the whole relationship, okay? Let me go back to that chart here, okay? What I'm talking about here, see the little Nine of Swords? Look at that energy as out here, okay? It's out there. It's like your relationship is getting a lot of, let's say, feedback, reflections, and experiences coming at you that could trigger the energy of stresses. Like, I don't want to mess this up, but I would put lots of red arrows like that coming in this way. Red arrows coming in here to indicate how the universe is reflecting back to you elements of stress in the relationship, okay? Let's keep going. What about deep inside of you? Okay, the Tower. So again, if this was an external energy, this would be very, very evident, like your whole life kind of imploding and collapsing, and then what are you left with, you know, in the ashes, and what's going to be rebuilt and remodeled and restructured after that. Also, thank you for that reminder, Tarot Illumination. We have Mercury retrograde essentially all month, okay? So it's going to affect everybody, including you, Libra, including the other, and including the relationship itself, okay? So deep down, you might be very, very aware, or at least sensing, that there are some deep rumblings, shaking in the foundations of you personally, which of course is going to have an impact on the relationship itself and the other party. And at a very subconscious level, which we have not checked yet, they may be sensing your sense of almost like demolition, like a demolition derby is about to happen or is happening. Or you might be feeling deep down that the structure, the core, the crucible of your relationship is getting very, very shaky. In other words, this here, the actual crucible itself, is under extreme duress. Okay? That means, another way to say it is that your relationship is under a lot of pressure from multiple angles, from the reflections from the outside, from what is ever unconsciously or has unconscious elements in you, unconscious elements in the other, so that you are in a state of maximum risk, okay? Doesn't mean it's the end of the relationship or everything's falling apart. It just looks like everything is under a lot of pressure, okay? A lot of stress. And the question is, how much pressure and stress can the relationship handle? How much pressure can this crucible handle? Over here, what about them deep inside? Okay, well, look. So it's almost like we have a parallel energy here between yourself and a significant other. With the Five of Wands, okay, over here, deep inside of them, my feeling is that they themselves, it's all, this is going to sound really weird, Libra, but it's almost like they are growing and evolving and benefiting from this. And another, you know how sometimes it's very hard to evolve and grow without pressure. And with the degree of pressure that we were talking about, well, let's, if I could, I don't want to draw them here, but I would be drawing a lot of red arrows coming into the relationship this way as a reflection from the universe that would indicate like, oh my God, our relationship is seriously effed up at the moment, but you're doing a really good job of handling it. They're doing as best they can. Deep down inside of them, over here, they're actually learning a lot. I feel that they are learning a lot and growing a lot in the context of this relationship, and that all the duress, all the stresses that are happening, especially towards the end of the month of March, when everything shifts into Aries, not everything, but like the sun at least shifts into Aries, that's when the pressure is probably going to reach its maximum level, and it's going to continue like that for probably weeks to come. My feeling is that you guys are building up to this. You, Libra, are starting to feel like the energy of earthquakes, the ground shifting, like, They already get it. They already understand. They're dealing with it from the emotional level. It looks like, it doesn't look like they're going anywhere in this situation. It just looks like they're doing the best they can to handle the stresses as well, because they are part of this. Even though this is your reading for you, Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, they are a component in all of this. Let's have a look at the core itself. Okay, so this is a teamwork energy. So I'm actually really, really happy to see this. This to me bolsters up whatever it is that you've got that's good between you guys, despite however stressful things might be externally or internally, like with you as an individual, with the other as an individual, all the unconscious energies that have not been, let's say, metabolized into your soul. So that's what I think we're looking at here. I think that we're looking at a situation where there's a lot of pressure. It's building up and it's going to max out right towards the end of the month. And you're handling it. You're aware of it. They're handling it. They're aware of it, and they're actually thriving and growing. You're dealing with the energy of, radical shifts. In other words, the crucible, as far as from your perspective, is very, very shaky. It's like it's rocking, like what happens in an earthquake setting, like I don't know if you guys have ever been in earthquakes. I have, and it can be very, very disturbing at the very deep gut level, even if it's just a rumbler and nothing falls off the walls and the kitchen doesn't explode in your face and the floor cracks. None of that. This could just be like a rumbler. So you're handling it, they're handling it, you're aware of it, they're aware of it and handling it. And the relationship itself is showing signs that under extreme duress, you're actually not doing so bad, because it's like you have to turn to each other in order to figure this out. Just imagine, when I think of pentacles here in a love situation, in a relationship situation, I think of it as ingredients, as tokens, as highly valuable components of the relationship. And with the Three of Pentacles, there is a situation, my feeling, it's a very, very Libra energy here, where I'm going to swap out the characters here in a moment, but what I'm feeling is that the relationship itself is actually holding itself together. It's under a lot of pressure. There's so many external stresses. There's your own stresses. There's their own stressors. There's the stress of external pressures, whatever they might be. You know, some people have tremendous external pressures on a relationship, even though you guys might be sound inside. And that also puts pressure on the relationship. So with the Three of Pentacles here, my feeling is that you're in a situation where you realize, you know what, in other words, we are a work in progress. We're going to do what we can, however we can. We have to do it, my dearest, darling so-and-so. And then they're like, okay, I get it, because I can sense that it's very, very challenging right now. We're building up to it. So yeah, let's work on it, because the only way we can handle it is by agreeing that we're going to handle this, and it has to be a team effort. Like when you're building something of great significance, like if you have a relationship where you're both invested and you want it to continue and to be good, then it's an ongoing, it's a work in progress. So it means you're constantly, just like they do on a construction site, remodeling a home, building bridges, whatever it is, you're constantly having to check in with each other. Like, am I going to plan, or am I just going wild? And then say, well, you're not going too bad. Might want to check in with the details about this. And then you could almost like flip it around and the same thing for them. Like, you know, am I doing okay? I know it's a team effort. Can you please give me any kind of clues of what I'm doing wrong, how and why and when and where, so we can at least figure out the problems? And then you say, that's brilliant. Thank you for asking that question. That tells me that you care. By the way, could you do the same for me? Can I do the same for you? I would love to, if you don't mind, without hurting your feelings, I would love to give you my honest appraisals about what I feel I'm doing that works and what you're feeling that you're doing that works, but what I'm also sensing that doesn't work, because it does impact the success and the joy and the happiness and the love of our relationship. And then they say, wow, that means you really care too. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Like, I care. You care? Yes. Because, you know, we have something here. Oh, sure. There's a lot of stuff like getting shaken around. Let's work on it, okay? It looks like there's value here, and you can see the value no matter how shaky things might be. What about prospects, okay? So, with the Five of Swords here, okay, my feeling is that what may come about, let's go back to here again, is that you very gently, very delicately discover, as often happens, like when I look at this, to me this looks like a kitchen table meeting. This is almost like a business meeting where you guys finally realize we have to talk. Just like they do in a construction site, they have like a little office, or they go off to a corner somewhere, they lay out all the plans, all the notes, the mission, the journey, you know, all the supplies they need, the tasks that have to be done, figuring out what to do. And also they have to identify what's not working, where are things going wrong, how are we going to identify them and fix them. And that's a lot of things, I think, is a lot to do with the Mercury retrograde, because it allows you to do the repairs and maintenance. So I'm seeing this, you know, in a very uncomfortable way, but it's good news, because it makes me feel like with the Five of Swords here, you both come to a realization like, it's a little bit awkward, it's a little bit delicate, it's a little bit sensitive. It's where both parties agree that you like to be right. I, the Libra, like to be right. I like to know that I'm right. I like to know that I'm understood, respected, honored, appreciated, valued, applauded. And I don't want to have to force the situation just to insist and get things to work the way that I want them to work for me. I have a relationship with you. You have a relationship with me. Okay? So I humble Libra, admit that I like to be right all the time. And I'm sorry if I have, you know, forced things upon you or the relationship or us that's actually not working for you. And then guess what? They come up and say, wow, you put that so eloquently, because I was going to say the same thing about myself. Because guess what? I don't like to lose either. Look at me. You know, I have no desire or intention to dumb myself down to accommodate you or to accommodate the relationship. I like to win too. And so you both parties admit to each other, like, damn it, you know, this is a lose-lose situation. If we're always continuously trying to prove ourselves to each other and outprove each other, we're actually hurting ourselves and each other and the relationship. And that needs to be known. It needs to be understood. And then if you can define that, let's say put it on a piece of paper, and then you start to realize and clarify with your relationship, like the thing that you own, okay, this thing here, where you can look at them and they can look at you, and you can realize, oh my gosh, all these stressors out here, all this stuff out here, you know, what we were talking about earlier. Now I can see how that makes sense, because that stuff here is information that just seemed chaotic and painful. But if we analyze the information, do the Mercury retrograde stuff, take advantage of it, we can actually see what this means. We can actually identify, let's identify what are the stressors. And let's have a conversation about that, so we don't just go blindly ahead, continuing to think what we're doing is building our relationship, when we're just actually adding friction and more problems for later on. And then you go, wow, thank you for that. Thank you so much. You've helped me to understand better now too. Yeah. And then they kind of go, well, we are a team. And you go, yeah. That's cool. I'm sorry about all the stresses I bring to you, and I'm sorry about all the stresses I bring to you. So that means you care? Yes, that means I care. And we have a relationship, we have a deal, yes, and it is an ongoing work in progress, yes. So let's agree that we don't have to continuously try to prove, I don't have to keep proving myself that I'm right to you. You don't have to keep proving yourself you're right to me. We can allow for our differences. You could be you and I could be me. I am different from you. You are different from me, even though we have a relationship. And then you realize the nature of the Five of Swords is like, wow, it's okay to be me. It's okay for me to be smarter than you sometimes. Okay. And if you can't handle it, that's your problem. And it's also okay for you to be smarter than me sometimes. And then I have to suck it up, because that's my problem, that I can't handle it. And then both parties agree, wow, let's get over ourselves and let's start seeing things from a clearer perspective, so that we don't get stuck in lose-lose situations. And we'll take this information and the things that we've learned so we can flip it around into win-win. In other words, hey, honey, what's good for you? Oh, well, thank you for asking. I was going to ask you the same. What's good for you? How would this work for you? How are we actually going to do this? Let's talk. Let's take care of business, okay? Smoochy, smoochy, smooch. Let's do that, okay? So all is not lost, Libra, but there's no question there's a few stressors here, all right? So let's leave it at that. I don't want to, like, push this any harder than it has to be. You can reinterpret however you want. What I would invite you to do, let's go back to the very, very beginning. What I'd like you to do is, please, okay, check out the playlist, Astrodoodle's playlist. It'll give some extra, like having a side dish to this thing. It might help you to understand this better. Personal reading, check below. Membership, very important, check below. Donate, thank you very much, check below. And this would be your Astrodoodle, and that's what you will see on the other playlist, okay? Hopefully when you see this and you see this, squish it all together and you can get some sense out of it. Thank you, Libras, sun, moon, rising, and all of that. Okay? Take care. All the best. Okay? Bye-bye from Tarot Lumination.